Happy New Year, Happy New Year, Happy New Year. It is 2018, and this is Paula G, the Paula G Show right here on Survival Radio Network, where we expand your mindset through worldwide conversations. It is so good to be with you all again. I feel like I've been on forever. I hope you all have had a wonderful, incredible break, and you are ready for a new year. I am so excited about this show this evening because, and I'm going to jump right into it, because my two guests are the two men that have made it possible for me to be on radio, Clark Garrison and Jerry Royce. And we're going to be talking with both of those gentlemen this evening. But before I get started, as always, thank you so much to all of you, my listeners, my live listeners, podcast listeners, those here in the state of Georgia, right here in the ATL, around the U.S. of A., my military families, both here and abroad, truck drivers who are out there on the highways and byways listening, those of you who are listening worldwide, the UK, Australia, New Zealand, all over. Thank you all so very much for listening. You all know I always say what? Time is precious. It is the one thing that you cannot get back. So for you to think it not robbery to spend just a little bit of time with me is truly, truly appreciated. I thank you all so very, very much. And before I go any further, I want to give a couple of shouts out this evening. First of all, to my regular engineer, Mr. Mike Barnes. He's out this evening. He's had some death in his family, immediate friends. So our thoughts and prayers go out to them as he is with his friends at this time. But also on a lighter note, I want to give my oldest daughter, and I said that kind of hard, oldest, D-Lane, a very happy birthday. Tomorrow is her birthday, so I want to say happy birthday to her. And my grandson on Saturday, I think it's Saturday, he'll be 1 year old. So birthday blessings to you both. Now, I want to take a moment and talk to a gentleman who, gosh, what's it been, 4 years, I think 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we had a conversation, and then we had another conversation, and then we had another conversation, and here I am on Survival Radio Network, and the man who has made that happen is none other than the CEO, Mr. Clark Garrison of Survival Radio Network, and we want to chat with him a little bit about, our journey together and how this all got started and what's in store for 2018 for Survival Radio Network. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the Paula G Show, Mr. KG himself, Clark Garrison.
Paula to the G. What's going on? How you doing?
I am wonderful, Clark to the G. What happened to applause? You don't get to applause?
No, I don't get that kind of stuff. I haven't really worked hard enough for it. It's only the third day of the month.
I know, right? And you multitasking tonight. First of all, thank you so much for sitting in and engineering for me tonight. You do. I'm just going to tell it. You are multitasking tonight, and
That's okay.
Certainly always appreciate it. But thank you so very much. Our journey has been, 4 years, 5 years? I think I've lost track.
Since 4 years. 4 years.
4 years and 5 years.
It seems like more because I feel like we've been friends for quite some time, but I guess 4 years is a long time.
It is.
Yeah,
It is.
Especially in dog years.
So share your thoughts and share a little bit about the history of Survival Radio Network, how you and I got hooked up.
So the history of it is I've been in radios back in the day, but 2009 I started in radio. Mm-hmm. And didn't know anything about it, just kind of, felt like I had something to say, like many people do, and I got my chops and my experience under my belt. And along the way, I kept meeting some really cool people as guests, or we would just network in the same kind of fields. And I was looking for a platform at that time, specifically online, that had a collective of individuals who were about positive messaging. So I found a bunch of shows. I found, a variety of things, but not one particular platform that emphasized only that. And so, being the Sagittarian that I am, I just said, I will create it myself, and we'll see what happens. So I tricked a bunch of people in the beginning and thinking that I knew what I was doing, and that's how it was formed. Now, yes, go ahead.
And why the name Survival Radio Network?
I had written a book, which is why I started the show in the first place, called How to Survive the Next 365. And it was really just a memoir of my financial devastation in 2007 and 8. And I needed a therapy session, and I couldn't afford one, so I wrote a book, and that became my therapy.
Right.
And so the book was How to Survive the Next 365. So I was really keen on the whole survival thing, because if you guys can remember as far back as 2008 and 9, man, we thought the world was coming to an end. At least the financial world. I mean, people, there were companies that were just dying that you grew up with, right? That you were like, there's no way that company disappeared. And Wall Street had crashed, and it was like 1929 again. And so I really felt like we all needed to get a survival kit under our belt, whether it was financially, whether it was just, in socially, economically, health, whatever, God, we need to get our basics. That's what that stood for to me. So I wanted to have a platform that stood for that. You can always build on stuff, but if you build on a faulty platform or base, then eventually the higher you get, you're going to crumble. So I felt like that was a cool name that could just kind of harken back to survival techniques and ideology. So that started in 2012. Shortly after, I bumped into you at a Hank Stewart event, the White Linen event that we were covering that year, and I think you had worked with the kiddies, because Paula loved the kiddies, earlier that day, and you were wandering, and you got a little bit too nosy. And
True.
You came on over and was like, okay, hey, what you doing? We had a live remote set out there, and I think I was on break from it at that point. So the mics were on the table, and we were just kind of hanging out, and I was watching the table, and I started talking to you about who we are, what we do, and you had mentioned that you at some point had considered radio but didn't know how to get started, and I said, hey, give me a call, and we'll play around with some ideas. And after we talked, and I knew immediately you were the type of woman that needed to really be sure. And I think I even told you back then, go and pray, think, meditate, all those things about it, because if you do this needs to be something that you do for the long term. And here you are, 72 years later, you're rocking, rocking this thing. So
yes, and you're absolutely right. And I try to think of ways to just express just how grateful and appreciative I am, because, prior to that conversation, you didn't know me from Adam's house cat. So, to take it.
I'd never heard that one, by the way.
That's a new one.
That's good. That's good.
So, based on our conversations, to take that chance, because this is your brand, this is your network, Survival Radio Network and Survival Radio Christian Network. That's your brand. So to take that chance on me and have that faith in me, I truly, truly appreciate it. And also, the other thing I appreciate about Survival Radio Network and Survival Radio Christian Network is the training that you offer. The training that you offer and the opportunities to grow, for us to grow, as radio hosts.
Yeah, so and that really goes back to when I first started out. I didn't have anybody really to go to other than and I just want to make sure. Can you still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't really have a lot of outlets in terms of how do you do online radio, what's the best practices, radio jargon, knowing the industry, really treating it like a professional would. And so what I thought would be really cool is I can take the years that I've been involved in the studies that I've had in classes and mentorship and rolled that into a sort of benefit to come aboard the Survival Radio Network. And so everyone who does has me, and now we have one of the cool things about being around long enough for a while is that we have seasoned veterans like yourself and Maisha Claiborne and J. Pope Payton. Something she got married, so I think it's white. We've got right. Sharon and the whole cast of Survival Radio Christian Network, the original ones who came aboard. We've got some talent now.
Joyce White over there, and Christine Lawson.
Yeah, Joyce White. We've got people who've been there and done it, right, and have measured and gone on who are now syndicated on other platforms as well. So we now have a pool of people that a newbie can come on and say, how do you do this? What's the best way to do this? How can I avoid some pitfalls? And that, to me, is worth its weight in gold.
Right. Well, Clark, I appreciate you so very much. And, of course, I'm going to have you back on later in the year, and we're going to talk a little bit more. But thank you so much for taking a moment to chat with me. And once again, I truly, truly appreciate you from the bottom of my heart and Survival Radio Network. Thank you, love.
Well, listen, I just want to say that we benefit just as much from having someone like you be a part of our organization because it really is about the people on the organization and not me. Yeah. So thank you so much for putting in for a good, hard year. Let's keep it rolling, man. Let's do something great.
Keep it rolling. Clark Garrison of Survival Radio Network. We are going to take a break, ladies and gentlemen, and when we come back on the flip side, we will be talking with the other gentleman who has made radio possible for yours truly, and that is Jerry Royce Live, Positive Power 21. This is the Paula G Show. This is Paula G on Survival Radio Network, and we will be back in a few moments. Whoa. Why'd you wake me up so early this morning? Seems like the world was fast asleep. Oh, is it that you knew that my heart was open? That you wanted me to be still. It seems like we've been playing tug of war. I lose, you win. Yeah, my heart is open. I'm begging you, please come in. You're a great God, a healer, a friend when I need you. Alpha, Omega, beginning, the end. Head of my table, you try, only you are able. There, God, please take the wheel. I'm heading your way. When the rain poured down outside my galvanized window, was that you washing my sins away? And when the rooster crowed oh so early this morning, was that you telling me it's time to pray? I don't claim to be the best believer. I don't claim, no. With that I struggle every day. But one thing I know is I feel you again. Gently nudging me away. You're a great God, healer, friend when I need you. Alpha, Omega, yeah.
Get on the table. You try, only you are able. Yeah, God, please take the wheel from heading your way.
Looking for a cafe with a home-like appeal where all who enter feel like they are part of something? Visit My Coffee Shop, located in Eastlake, Atlanta, Georgia. MCS has a full breakfast and lunch menu, offering both hot and cold options, and is home of the amazing basil lemonade. But don't forget their assortment of freshly brewed coffees. Come on by at 2462 Memorial Drive, Atlanta, Georgia, 30317. We're pretty sure My Coffee Shop at Eastlake will become your coffee shop, too.
iDope, globally inspired vision stylewear, a fusion of classic heritage and contemporary sophistication. An essential part of your lifestyle and fashion expression. iDope, vision stylewear for the fashion-forward and socially conscious. Let's make this a dope world together. iDope. Available online at iDope.com. That's EYEDOPE. iDope.com.
Survival Radio Network, with now more than 1 million downloads. Congratulations to the staff, producers, engineers, and hosts for your tireless pursuit of excellence. And thank you, our loyal listeners, for supporting this movement to inspire, motivate, and educate people worldwide. Survival Radio Network, Survival Radio Christian Network, and our new Survival Sports Radio Network broadcast top-notch shows Sunday through Saturday. Check us out by visiting our website at www.survivalradionetwork.us. SRN, we do radio 1 million strong.
The SRN.
Hello, family. This is Arthur Rowland, gospel recording artist from Atlanta, Georgia. And you're listening to my good friend, Paula G. and the Paula G. Show on Survival Radio Network. And if you're not listening to Paula G, your radio is not on.
What is this? I just can't hide. Paula's on the radio. Got me feeling so good inside. She's on the radio. Got me riding that too high.
And we are back. This is the Paula G. Show right here on Survival Radio Network. And many thanks to Mr. Arthur Rowland for that wonderful message. And also, Heston's Dear God, and his music can be found on iTunes and Amazon. And at the top of the show, the new theme for the Paula G. Show, Slow Earth by V. Ferg. And his music also can be found on iTunes, Amazon, and SoundCloud. Now, we just had a conversation with Clark Garrison, the CEO of Survival Radio Network, of which I've been a part of for the last 4 years. But there's also a gentleman who has been very instrumental in Paula G. being on the radio. And you know, as you journey through life and you embrace those things that you are called to do, there's special people along the way who think it not robbery to step out on faith and open a door or two just for you. And when I decided to do radio, as we've just heard, Clark Garrison opened the door and gave me an opportunity. Then there was another gentleman who did the same thing. He was placed in my path a little over a year ago. He's also opened doors for me to expand my radio experience and skills. He is the CEO of his own network, Positive Power 21 Christian Media. He is Mr. Positive Power 21 himself, Jerry Royce Live, a.k.a. the Batman of late night radio. And I co-host The Quiet Storm, the late night special. It airs Friday evening, 11:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. on Positive Power 21. And tonight I'm really honored to have him broadcasting on the Paula G. Show over both networks, the Survival Radio Network as well as Positive Power 21. And I encourage you, each and every one of you that are listening, to support both networks. Each offers quality internet programming as well. Please welcome Paula G. Show, the man who I marry every Friday evening at 11:30 p.m. and it gets annulled by 2 a.m., Mr. Jerry Royce Live.
Hey, can you feel the power? Can you feel it?
Yes.
What's up, Paula?
Jerry, how are you, love?
I am awesome. How you feeling?
I am wonderful, and I'm just full tonight. I'm just overwhelmed because this actually is the second anniversary of the Paula G Show. So, I've got a whole lot of emotions going on,
Congrats.
in and through me. And just to be able to celebrate both you and Clark this evening is just a blessing. So before we go any further, tell us how the name Batman came around. How we get Batman?
That's a good question. The true origin, I found this ring. Well, what happened was I made friends with Tina, of course. She was Superwoman, and I think the nickname was created from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, from her and Linton Smith, because we call him Superman. So we called ourselves the super friends. So, and then I found this ring, while I was out shopping, and it was on after that. I was up late. People saying, when do you go to bed? And, of course, at the time, they didn't know I was going through some stuff at that time with my medication. So my clock was off. Mm-hmm. But you know how it is when you have creative juices. Sometimes you just can't just shut it off.
Yeah, so you got to keep it flowing.
Yeah.
Keep it flowing. So give us a little bit, because people ask me, often, who is Jerry Royce? Who is Jerry Royce? So tonight we want the audience to know who Jerry Royce is, and we'll talk a little bit later on about what's going on in Positive Power 21, and we want to talk a little bit about a very serious health issue, diabetes. But for right now, we just want to know, who is Jerry Royce? Take us into Jerry Royce, and give us a little background of how you wound up on internet radio as well.
That's right, and it's funny. I ask people the question every time they come on my show: who are you? And sometimes people are kind of like, oh my God, and there's things run through your head because you're so many things. Your father, your brother, your kid, your big kid, your pet owner. You name all these things, but they want to know who you really are. And the thing is, I was listening to my friend today, and because I'm working on a movie, and I'm a server. I'll just say I'm a server for the good Lord, using my gifts and talents to serve mankind and help spread His word, to reclaim His kingdom for those that are lost and wandering around in darkness. Eventually, one day, they will run across some of these platforms that He has put in place. So I just big caps server. A server.
And you've got your family has a background of owning businesses, and your background is in media, isn't it?
Yeah. My grandfather, my great grandfather actually was a farmer. He actually owned I think it was 500 acres of land, and he started, as he got older, I think he split it all up to his family members, cousins and stuff, and everybody put a trailer, built a home on it. And then my grandfather ended up building up on that house and expanded the farm. And he also had lawn care business. He had had janitorial services for what they call nurseries, for daycare centers, and snow removal. And he leased land to other farmers and did some farming, harvesting and stuff like that. And he raised farm animals. Right. He had cows and horses, and he would sell them and raise them, and so he was a bit of a farm hustler from Maryland, living in Maryland. And then my dad and I and my brother, we started a publishing company. My mom actually financed it, and because she had all the money. And so we started our own news magazine. So basically, she wanted to invest in that. My dad invested a lot of his contacts and network, and he was in printing and publishing. Also, we all three of us worked for a math, science, and a research journal publisher. That's all we did, was worked on books for Rockefeller grants, all those big grants, big universities, big time books on cancer research, stuff like that. And so that's where I got a lot of my experience. And also my media background came from community college, where they had their own cable network, and I was able to get real studio production, learn how to edit by hand and use all the equipment, and, all that kind of stuff. But I was more so in the graphics, because when I was 12, I actually owned my own publishing company, which was a comic book. Me and a couple of friends and we had our own companies, and we would share our stories. So I learned how to do story development and character development at a real young age. So that was the beginning of my entrepreneurship, was right there.
Wow. Now, Positive Power 21 started out as a secular station, did it not? And then you
actually
decided to.
I don't know if you heard this story. It actually started as a newsletter. Yep. It was a newsletter.
Wow.
I was in management. I was detail in management. That was a combination of customer service and clerks. And they had just merged the two departments, so they were kind of a little unfamiliar with each other. And then some people had history, like from the streets and stuff. And so it was a lot of animosity. And it was a lot of, they didn't want to do this, didn't think it was a good idea type thing. So when I walked into that situation, I'm like, wow, I never managed people who wasn't happy before, because when I was working for the health department, I was like what they call a temporary supervisor until they was able to find somebody. Everybody that was working for me was like happy to love their job, so these people were very unhappy. They didn't make a lot of money and they were stuck. A lot of them were close to retirement, and you had new people coming in the door. They had like master's degrees and doctorates and working on their doctorates, but they was in customer service. They were some of your lower grade position, but they was trying to find something just to get into government and I guess work their way up. That was their whole mindset. And that's what everybody's mindset, just find a stepping stone. So I used the newsletter with a combination of affirmations and, from brainy quotes and all of them. And then I would find like really colorful pictures that was funny, and they liked that. It was just something I sent through the email. And then because I had a graphic background, I said, I'm going to make it look nice and professional, like a departmental thing. And then the other managers got jealous about it, and they was actually trying to get me to shut it down. So I ended up shutting it down, but what I did, I made it just like an affirmation type thing, and I called it Positive Power. Positive Power.
Wow.
That's how I got started.
And that's how the name came about.
Yep, that's how I got started.
Yeah. And I was talking with Clark a little earlier, and he was sharing how why he named the network Survivor Program Network, and you explained why you named it Positive Power 21. And I think that's real. Words have power, names have power, and purpose in that power. And when we're doing these things that we love, and when we're on these journeys to our passion, it's really important how we brand it and how we label it and what we call it and so forth. So that's huge. Now I know that we keep going, or do you need to take a break? I know you come on air at 9:00. Are we good?
Yeah. So when do you shut down? You shut down at 9:30? Okay. We're already on the air. So
I shut down at 9:30.
Yeah, I don't have to do anything.
Yeah,
We already plugged in.
Okay, so we're good. So we can keep it rolling. Okay. What I do want to do is take a commercial break, and then when we come back, I want to talk a little bit about some of the projects that you have coming up in 2018, and also we're going to talk a little bit about that nasty girl called Diana. We are talking right now this evening with Positive Power 21 here on Survivor Radio Network on the Paula G Show. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Hang tight.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
You have a business, product, service, or an event coming up. Is your current marketing getting you nowhere? Survival Radio Network is an award-winning network with over 1 million downloads. We're offering high-exposure 30-second spots on our network, reaching diverse demographics both locally and nationwide. Give us a call at 323-977-8172 or visit our website at www.survivalradionetwork.us today. SRN. We do radio.
Do you have tax issues, owe back taxes, or need tax relief? Contact L&B Tax Service today. L&B offers you over 15 years of expertise and first-class tax service for individuals, professionals, and business owners with nationwide service. You can easily find a location near you. Contact one of our tax professionals through our website, lbtaxservice.com. That's www.lbtaxservice.com. L&B Tax Service Incorporated. Tax professionals that you can trust.
Do you know that having a dirty filter in your heating and air system can cause major damage to your unit and pollute the air in your home? Having proper maintenance to your heating and air system is just like getting a tune-up on your car. Schedule one today and avoid spending unnecessary money tomorrow. Call Temperature Design Heating and Air today. 770-823-7160. That's 770-823-7160.
Hi, I'm Ryan Seacrest for RAD. Over 300 people in this country are killed every week by a drunk driver. That's the equivalent of 2 747 plane crashes every single week. And the problem isn't going away unless we all do our part to stop it. So if you see someone who's about to drive after drinking, get the keys. Don't leave it up to anyone else. Friends don't let friends drive drunk.
A public service announcement brought to you by RAD, the National Association of Broadcasters, and the Ad Council.
The SRN.
Hello, family. This is Arthur Rowland, gospel recording artist from Atlanta, Georgia. And you listen to my good friend, Paula G, and the Paula G Show on Survival Radio Network. And if you're not listening to Paula G, your radio's not on.
What is it? I just can't hide. Paula's on the radio. Feeling so good inside. She's on the radio.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back live this evening broadcasting on Survival Radio Network as well as Positive Power 21. And I have the distinct pleasure of speaking with both gentlemen who've made it possible for Paula G to be on the radio. And earlier we were talking with Clark Garrison, and we are now speaking with Jerry Royce of Jerry Royce Live, Positive Power 21. So Jerry, tell us a little bit about what it takes to do what you do in radio.
Like they always say, any good entrepreneur would tell you it takes passion. You got to have a lot of passion. And I remember I met Earl Graves and twice. Matter of fact, he was over at Morgan. He supports Morgan State University because he's a graduate of their school. And he pumps millions of dollars into their program. And I remember he was there for a book signing, and I had my magazine.
Right.
I was really influenced to do that magazine because of him. It was actually a school project. And I was so impressed with Black Enterprise. It was funny how I ran across all the times I've been in the store, I never noticed it before until one day it was like a really bad snowstorm, and I was running information technology department for a publishing company, and I was driving a sports car, and it wasn't good in the snow, and I had a pretty long way to get home. Like it was a good 35, 40-minute drive. And one of my coworkers was getting off like around 11:30 that night. She said, "Look, Jerry, if you can't think you can make it," she said, I live like 10 minutes from here at Drew Hill Park. She said, if you can make it there, or just park the car and walk, And I was like, all right, cool. It was real nice. So I got in the car. I looked like I couldn't make it. It was pretty bad. So I called her. She said, okay, cool. She had a huge house. It was incredibly big. It was like a baby mansion. Just her. And so she had spare rooms and stuff. So she had a stack of these magazines. I was like, what's that? And she said, that's Black Enterprise. She had it was a lot of them. And I said, oh, can I read? So I stayed up like a couple of hours reading them, and she let me take some home. I was so blown away that it's just my innovation, my creativity, my thinking caps was just firing off like crazy. And it's like God was speaking to me because I was always up 2, 3 in the morning. It's like I was hearing everything. And next thing I know, I ended up going back to school for community college for graphic design, and one of my projects was we had to do a cover, a magazine cover of some sort. And then that's when I came up. I couldn't think of a title, so I asked my brother. He came up with the title of the magazine. And the next thing you know, I showed it to my parents, and my mom and dad were so impressed. And my mom said, we ought to do this, because they were living in an area where African Americans were there and they had professional jobs, and then you had some hood, but they didn't have their own magazine. So that was the first black magazine in Talbot County, Maryland. If anybody know anything about Talbot County, Maryland, that's where Frederick Douglass was born, and 20 minutes from there, Harriet Tubman was born. So that area has a lot of history.
Wow.
So we're actually in
a lot of history.
We're in the museum in Trapp, Maryland. They have a museum there, Trapp Museum, and we have our magazine in there. So it's some legacy.
Awesome.
Yeah, some legacy.
Yes. That is huge, because Earl Graves is. I mean, he was just, to me, just a master. Businessman, entrepreneur, and just you just can learn so much from him. Learn so much from him.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what's in store in 2018 for Positive Power 21.
Well, since we got so much time, we got a lot of time. We here to 10:30, so we can take our time. All right.
Okay, the Cliff Notes version, because we still got to talk about Dirty Diana in the next 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
22 minutes.
Right. I forgot your show is till 9:30, right? So then we roll over to my show.
Yes.
All right. What's going on? 2018 is a lot going on. So much was going on that I had a guest on. I couldn't remember if I had one of her clients on first or if she was on first. Maybe her client was on first. And I was really impressed with them. So I told her that I needed some help. So, we talked and everything and, worked out a deal. And she's helping me market the movie Dirty Diana. But it's like other things I was doing that she really was impressed with that was great for her stable of clients. So one of the things it's taken off already, and we already been in the studio, and that's Blacked Out Live. Blacked Out Live is kind of like a spin-off from Unplugged. A lot of you guys remember Unplugged, DC Unplugged. That was my baby that I put together. It was like kind of like a spin-off what MTV was doing, where the artist is just there communicating with the audience. Kind of like how Adele is right now, how she's like real transparent. Well, the artists have an opportunity to tell a testimony. And you've been there. And so, and they can sing 2 or 3 songs. So it's great because if they don't have an album, it's okay. But one thing about Blacked Out Live that's different is you definitely have to have either an LP or a catalog of music. So you need at least 4 or 5 songs minimum to be part of Blacked Out Live. And Blacked Out Live is phenomenal because what the artist's been telling me is that even though it's not a live audience here, because I got a lot of cameras in here. We got cinema cameras, so we shooting film and we shooting tape. So once they see all those cameras are lighting up and we got LED lights and they're blacked out because everything's blacked out, and then they see all of my TV monitors that cause we use a lot of monitors because I got vision issues. So my son has like perfect vision. Yeah. So no matter where he's at in the studio, he can see that everything is focused. So he has to be here with me. So the thing is, once they see that, and then that music, I have like the perfect sound system. We got the best mics that money can buy, and they just go into their own world. So Blacked Out Live is one of our big projects, and what's so great about that is, that's kind of like the nucleus of everything happened in 2012. Because once artists buy into Blacked Out Live, they're getting so much. They get the Quiet Storm with Paula G. They get Late Night Radio with Jerry Was Live and Friends. And also they get Beyond the Beat with Dr. Trinnell. They get 3 radio programs that are actually in TV version. Because, we stream everything over Facebook Live through television cameras. So they get all that. So they could be in the studio for that, or like most of them, when they fly in town on a Friday, they do your show from the hotel. So that's cool. So they don't have to come to the studio. And then if Dr. Trinnell is in town, they have an opportunity to do the television show Beyond the Beat right after they do their live concert, which means they get an opportunity to tell us how they feel at the time. Or if she can't make it, we can remotely bring her into the studio, which is so cool.
Right.
So she actually set up.
And the beauty of Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. She actually set up in her Florida studio with her remote camera and everything. So it's like, if she can't make it, it's okay. We can still do the show.
Right. Right. The beauty of this internet radio and podcast, and we certainly have, your live events, live things that you do, but the beauty of it is you can always go back and watch it, or you can always go back and listen to it, so I think and we were talking about this at one point about, sometimes, not even in internet radio, you don't have that, or at least I don't think you have that competitive piece, because audiences can go back and listen to Survival Radio Network shows. Audiences can go back and listen to Positive Power 21 shows. They can listen to both networks or whatever networks they choose to listen to. And that's the beauty of podcasts, because you can do that, at your leisure and just be exposed to so many opportunities and so many, voices. So many voices and so many opportunities and so many different type of shows. Yeah. And that's one of the things that I really love about internet radio and the internet, internet community. So, it's really a beautiful thing. So let's talk a little bit about that nasty girl, Dirty Diana.
Dirty Diana.
With all that you do. Yes, with all that you do, and I want the audience to understand this and to hear this. We all have a challenge in life, but how we handle that challenge is the key. This man does so much on radio and media, just in general, just media in general, while he is coexisting with diabetes. Talk to us a little bit about diabetes and how it affects your life.
All right. So if you don't mind, can I go up rewind a little bit about the whole cinema thing? How the cinema thing? Do we got enough time with that?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah. Because Dirty's pretty much Dirty's like the last thing for your segment, right? So we still got a couple minutes, right? All right. The deal is, my oldest son, Brandon, loved cinematography. He loved cinema. He just loved the whole film industry. And he actually went to Morgan State University for telecommunication, but he started in engineering. And he wasn't feeling that too much after a year or two, so then he went over to telecommunications. Morgan actually had upgraded a lot of their equipment and their radio station. Everything was being upgraded. It was running TVs through the kids' dorms, so they were able to pipe in sports and whatever they wanted in programming. So at the time, when he was in school, the South was starting to boom in rap, in secular rap. So a lot of those, like the Miami scene, the trap music, all that was starting to boom. They were looking for cinematographers, and a lot of people couldn't afford the equipment back then, because those cameras were like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 just shooting VHS, believe it or not. God. So he was able to take a lot of the equipment home, and so he was able to do like projects out of town. And so what happened was, I was like, man, this stuff seems so more advanced than when I was studying it in community college. You talking about like the early 80s. So, so I wouldn't even bother and ask him how he did some of the stuff he was doing. It was just mind blowing when he was doing these music videos. So making a long story short, he ended up moving into sports. ESPN picked him up, and he was doing a lot of football and basketball stuff. So then he kind of got away from the, the special effects and all that stuff. So in the back of my mind, I was like, wow, it's still so interesting. But then as time, like rewind now, the cameras got cheaper because they came up with this thing called a Red Dragon. I saw it on the movie that Charles Clark was in. He actually showed it to me too. I was like, oh man, that's my camera. I think that thing was like $100,000, but now I think you can get it for $10,000, $20,000. And now some of the better cameras you can get is like around $5,000. Now I have 2 cinema cameras here, and you can buy the kits for them and build them up to make them heavy, have the right weight that you need to shoot and get the lighting that you want. And of course, you have to build the sound up, so you have to use tuners and stuff like that to catch the audio you want. And, I got your boom, man. So what happened is I started studying because there was so much equipment, because you had to learn the audio and the visual side. So I decided to take online classes. So I went back to school, film school. I was taking classes in California. YouTube invited me to come out to New York and study in their studios, but I couldn't do that, so they were sending me stuff online because they got like YouTube University, which a lot of people don't know about.
Mm-hmm.
And you just start, once you enroll in these courses, you just start sending them to you. So the bottom line, I even took a course with Spike Lee, which was fantastic. So the bottom line is,
wow.
I started getting all the experience, and then I get the classroom experience, but I needed real people. I just couldn't just record my family. So what happened was a friend of mine in my church was inviting me to these plays. So I went to visit their church, and I said, oh, I'd love to work with you guys in radio, and found out that the whole church were actors and singers and performers. So then what happened was I was already filming sports events, outside sporting events. So I was kind of starting to learn the camera, but I didn't know anything about indoor cinema. And they were shooting plays, and then they had she cast a play with one of the guys from The Wire, Richard Burton, who I think his character was Shamrock on The Wire, which was one of HBO's most successful long-running series. And so this guy was in it. They were singing. I mean, they had some fantastic actors and actresses. And not only their Sunday performances was out of this world also. So I started getting a lot of experience on breaking the cameras down, breaking it up, adjustments on the fly, you name it. So my son and I got really, really good at it. And then God said, I want you to do a documentary, And I was like, well, what? I didn't have no clue. So much stuff wrong in the world. Because I didn't want to be one of those kind of cinema guys that say, hey, I need all these different, I didn't want to shoot music videos because everybody want like 20 locations and all this angles, that's too much work. And they don't want to pay for it. Yes, them videos cost $1 million. You got $1 million? Of course they don't. So I didn't want to go that direction with music video. But what happened was I started noticing I was starting to get fatigued certain times of the day. Like brain tired. It's like you need a nap type of tired. And then it's like it was just I don't know, it was just weird. It was like I was losing train of thought, and I was like losing my balance sometime, and just, of course, you think you're just working too hard, because you're burning both candles on both ends, at different ends.
Right.
Then next thing I know, I was in a training program, and every time you went to a different department, they expect you to be like that person. It's like, okay, you're in a leadership program. You're supposed to be able to do everything. You can write, you can do this. And when they found out I could do everything, they really started using me. I was doing a lot of stuff for communications, external communication, internal communication. I was building websites, PowerPoint. I was doing training presentations for those charity events that they host. I built a radio podcast for them. I produced a morning show and some other stuff. It was just so much stuff that I was doing while I was in this program. It was like for 3 years. I was like, and I was building positive power at the same time. So then what happened is my glucose levels must have been like going up and down, because sometimes I have a burst of energy, then I'd be exhausted. Next thing I know, I was walking with my director because I got transferred because I couldn't handle the job I was in, which I loved that job because it was fast paced, but I just couldn't remember nothing. I was on 15 projects. Couldn't even remember nobody's name. So I went to work for this guy. He was real cool. He had a kid, my daughter's age and everything. Next thing, him and I was going to a meeting with the commissioner because we was working for the commissioner. I tripped. When he went to look back to see what I tripped on, there was nothing there. He said, what happened? I said, it's like my leg just gave up. He said, man, you need to go to the nurse. You're not looking good. Went to the nurse. She said, she checked my blood, my vital signs. Everything was good. She said, let me check your blood level, your glucose. She said, oh, my God. She said, did you drive? I said, yeah. She said, how did you? I said, I've been like this all week. She said, I need to call an ambulance. I was like, no, I can make it. She said, well, can you call your doctor? I said, yeah, I can make it. So anyway, long story short, turned out that I had diabetes, like the early stages of it, type 2. And so the doctor said, well, good news is, we caught it early, and, with dieting and exercising, you can reverse it, because the medication was expensive. So anyway, the fast forward through all of that, I remember I was sitting in church, and we got a pretty phenomenal church. They have a very strong presentation. It's like $1 million church. He pumped thousands of dollars in the sound stage. So you always get blown away with the video presentations and the sound, and you just start listening. You can hear God speaking to you like the angels talking. So next thing I know, God saying, God, what am I do with this Christian radio station? I don't know anything what these people going through. I kind of grew up when, both my parents worked and, we drove Volvos and we took vacations and, it's like, we had meals, we got a lot of gifts for Christmas. My neighborhood had administrators, principal, mailmen, BG&E guys, seeing, telephone people, everybody, 2-parent household.
Yeah.
I was like, how can I help these people? I don't understand, I never was on drugs. I was drunk. I mean, I womanized, but everybody did that. And, so I'm thinking that to my, cause God is talking to me and he's like, the word patience keep popping up. Next thing I know, here I am, battling for my life. I was battling for my life like you wouldn't believe it. It's like that thing was spiraling out of control. But the big secret is you don't look like you feel. And that's the thing about why. And that's the main reason why I came up with the film. Because at my job, they was treating me like I was that same guy that can crank out 25, 30 cases and help them run the front office, give them advice, be the go-to person. That person, we need some graphics, Jerry, do graphics. Oh, we need help with our website, do that. Oh, we never seen this before. Oh, I'll figure it out. And my wife, same thing. They was just so used to, honey, my dad's power's not working. You need to come and fix his electrical box. Stuff like that. Oh, the roof is leaking. You think you go to fix Dad's roof? The car not working. Dad, can you go fix the car? It's like everybody think I can do everything, but it was like I was barely getting out of bed. I felt like I was a running back and had 30 carries every day against an NFL team. That's how much pain I was in. Couldn't figure it out. Of course, you talking to your doctor. They looking at you like you crazy. Oh, that's not diabetes. It's like, are you kidding me? I didn't feel like this before. And I say, well, Doc, I'm having some pain. No, that's not part of it. But see, what they don't understand is, and what I didn't understand, the general practitioners are not really that educated in it. They only know enough to put you on medication until you get better. And then keep trying different ones until you say, oh, yeah. And most of their patients are older. They always blame them loss of memory from dementia or something like that from that's arthritis. No, my whole left arm is numb. That's not arthritis. I can't feel my foot. They kind of, and I said, look, I just lost, my buddy was a professional football player. He just lost 2 toes. He was a marathon runner. And you tell me exercise is supposed to help. So now you're panicking now. All right, 2 of my best friends just died 2 years ago. Their wives and everybody was part of that support group. That didn't work. What is going on? So now you're scared because you seeing people around you who was suffering from that gone. So then the bottom line, what I found out from doing this film is the very people who's supposed to help you and support you don't know nothing about it either. Because the doctors don't tell you everything you need to know. It's like you're your best advocate. And then you have people sit around saying, oh, I got diabetes and I can fly like an eagle, or I can drive like Mario Andretti, or but it's like everybody's not the same. I found out this one lady, she looks all nice and neat, her hair's all pretty, dress her butt off. She told me her body looked like a pin cushion. She got needle marks all over her body, trying to find a new spot every day to stick herself 3 times a day. I was like, whoa, you would never think that if you saw her. You was like, oh, she looked like for her age, you say, wow, she looked like a management. So and it's the thing, people
so they're not wearing their pain. They're not wearing their pain.
They're not wearing, but she found a way. Pain, but they're not wearing. See, that's the thing. A lot of them have had it so long, they found a way how to manage. You just have to find that balance. And what I've learned from being on these Facebook groups, so many people are like, they can't afford the medication, or they can't afford the right medication, or they can't afford to have that diet, so they still eating processed foods. Because fresh foods cost you money and time. Yeah. And you got to exercise. Yeah. You can't put certain stress on the body, because if you get injured, it takes because I was a marathon runner. I got into marathons. So the whole bottom line of the film is to educate those who are non-diabetic, who are living with someone with it, because my best friend told me that they had no idea what his brother was going through. He remember one day his brother was walking down the street and his ankle snapped. And he fell to the ground. Wow. And he said he was never the same again after that. He said he died within a matter of weeks. No matter what.
Wow. Wow, that's really huge.
Right.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's really huge. All right, Jerry, you know what? We're going to pause it right there for a few minutes, and then we're going to pick it up on the flip side as we continue on your show on Positive Power 21. Can you hang tight for just a little bit? Because I really want to take a moment to just thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. I want to take a moment to thank you so much for being a guest on the Paula G Show and the first show of 2018. Also, thank you so very much for giving me an opportunity, to having that faith in me and giving me the opportunity to be a part of the Positive Power 21. Thank you so much. Positive Power 21 family. I can't even talk. Positive Power 21 family. Thank you. I really, truly appreciate everything that you have done. And ladies and gentlemen, we have been talking this evening with Jerry Royce, live of Positive Power 21, and Clark Garrison, also of Survival Radio Network. Two gentlemen who have made it possible for me to do what it is that I do. And whether you are logged on live, you're listening on your phone, or in archives, thank you all so much for listening. Remember, the playbacks can be heard at www.thepaulagshow.com. You can also go to Positive Power 21 to hear the playback of this show as well. Always in podcast, Stitcher.com, TuneIn Radio, or Spreaker Radio. Search for Paula G. Also, episodes are in SoundCloud, the Paula G Voice. Also, don't forget our show to follow tomorrow evening right here on Survival Radio Network. Late Night Real Estate Talk with Ramon Tukes and Julia Standard. And, actually, that's tonight. That's tonight in 30 minutes at 10 o'clock, from 10 to 11 o'clock on SRN2. Late Night Real Estate Talk with Ramon Tukes and Julia Standard in 30 minutes at 10 o'clock. Also, my good friend, I can't forget my good friend over on Survival Radio Christian Network, Faith Walk with Joyce White, Tuesday evenings, 7:30 p.m. Make sure that you check her out. And also my good friend Christine Lockett, whose show airs right after Joyce's on Survival Radio Christian Network. Thank you all so very much, Positive Power 21 family, as well as Survival Radio Network family, for tuning in. Remember, the greatest conversation you will ever have is the one that takes place in between your ears, because it affects your daily life and ultimately your destiny. What are you speaking to yourself? What is your I am? I leave you this evening with Streetwise Izzo. Until next time.
Amen.
What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible. What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. Just all over for a love so real, someone like any other. What the world could offer me just held me down. Had me questioning, does this even matter? Do I matter? Then you came as sunlight breaks the clouds, with rain washed over me. I feel complete, your radiance has changed me. What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. What I found is Nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You make me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. Nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable. What I found is nothing comes close to the way that you have loved me. This feeling you give me is pure and true. You made me brand new, so incredible, unexplainable.
Can you feel the power? Positive Power 21. He's been often imitated, never duplicated. Some call him the David Letterman of late night. Some call him the Arsenio Hall of Gospel. Feel the power. Positive power. Jerry Ross.
Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of Double XI. You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast. Put your hands up and praise. Put your hands up and praise. You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hey, what's up, family? What's going on? Welcome to Positive Power XXI Christian Media. You're listening to Late Night with Jerry Royce Live Worldwide and Paula G from Survival Radio. That's right, we just had to finish up an interview on Survival Radio Network. That was part 1. Part 2 is over here on Positive Power. So thank you for joining us. I know a lot of you was listening to us on Facebook Live, Spreaker Radio International. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. We love you. Again, happy 2018. So let's get our praise on. Dear Father, please help me to rest in your happiness, to allow a smile to linger on my lips, to dwell within a wonderful memory, to walk back through sunlit places. Please help me awake with hope, to engage in life in variety, to take the beauty of others' joys, to touch the souls of those we meet. Please help me to sing with faith, carry the truth close to my heart, to rejoice in a new life and peace as I age. Please help me to indulge in love, to breathe in the sweetness of intimacy, taste the kindness of friendship, to feel the warmth of embrace. Please help me not to miss a single drop of heaven, to catch each moment in a drink in the great joy of life. All right, Total Life Changes, Daynette Watson. That's right, check her out at lose5poundsin5days.info. Church Life 2, that Church Life 2 with Teresa B. Howell. Find it on Amazon. You want to read about some drama in the church, in the pulpit, in the pews? Check out that Church Life number 2. All right, coming up on January 20th, Kent Osborne gonna be there, Christian rapper, minister. That's right, from Prison of Power. He's gonna be there Saturday, January 20, 6 o'clock. Empower Me Books, Empower Me Incorporated, non-profit, will be hosting a literary celebration of miracles. This is a celebration of the completion of the Inspirational Misfits book series and unveiling of the newest book called Misfits, The Miracle Revealed by Jessica W.A. Highsmith, Penn Alex J. And she has an awesome testimony that you can catch on YouTube. And that's going down in North Carolina, Greensboro, North Carolina. All right? They're going to have dinner and artists and authors and book signings and picture taking. Come on out, have fun. You're in the area, go to empowermebooks.com and sign up for more information. empowermebooks.com. All right. WealthDadSystem.com. WealthDadSystem.com. You trying to play that lottery today? That's right. Powerball. $460 million. That's right. In case you don't win, go out to WealthDadSystem.com and let James Deshay teach you how to become a millionaire along while he's becoming one. All right. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? The power of 21. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Trinity. That's right. We all need to be lifted up and encouraged at all times. The Bible is a great source for encouragement. What you say, Robot?
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
That's my boy. That's right. Robot said we all need to be lifted up and encouraged at all times. The Bible is a great source for encouragement. The Bible is the living word of God. It feeds us through the promise of God found in Scripture. And Philippians 4:7 reads, for 2018, always be full of joy in the Lord. I say it again, rejoice, and let everyone see that you are unselfish and considering all you do. Remember that the Lord is coming soon. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell God your needs. Don't forget to thank Him for His answers. You do this. You do this. You will experience God's peace, which is far more wonderful than the human mind can understand. Peace, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your mind in Christ Jesus. Praise and worship time. John 14:6. Jesus answered, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. John 11:25, Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live, even though they die. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Woo! Don't forget tomorrow night we got Curry Hines and his morning hair show team gonna be here, starting at 9:30. That's right. But just I broadcast at 9 o'clock. Praise and worship time. Woo! Almighty Father, creator of heaven and earth, everything in between, we humbly come before you with thanksgiving in our hearts, asking for your never-ending mercy. We lift your name on high, above any name has ever existed. Our Father, our Creator, we ask you to bless, protect, and pour your supernatural favor upon us, our children, our spouses, our friends, our neighbors, our enemies, our bosses. God, we ask you today for divine intervention in our lives. We ask you to touch all the areas of our lives. Touch our parents, our mothers, our fathers, even the ones we don't know. Be it be a new job, promotion, freedom from debt, rebuilding of our relationship and our spouses and our friend, fathers, situations. Any situation you touch, we believe will never remain the same. Father in heaven, let your will be done. Let your will be done in our lives, as your decision in our lives is the best, will always be the best. Please send double portions of anointings and blessings in the quickest time in your name, as your name is being worshipped and glorified by multitudes. In the name of your Son, our personal Savior, Jesus Christ, may the church say, Amen, Amen, Amen. Folks, God is going to be shifting things and let things work in your favor. God closes doors no man can open. God opens doors no man can close. If you need God to open doors for you, call on Him. I am that I am. In Deuteronomy 28:7 say, as your enemies gather to plan your downfall and your setbacks, God shall confuse and dismiss them in 7 directions. So they be blessed 7 times. May you be blessed 7 times. more until the blessed call you blessed. God be with our families, from the youngest to the oldest, lighting up our relationships, soaring peace and grace into our troubles. God be with our families, we've been loving our work, our rest, and our play. May robots say,
you are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
All right, y'all, we got a great show tonight. We got Paula G, the voice. She's here to finish interviewing me. So let's let Paula in. What's up, Paula? You ready for part 2?
I am ready for part 2. And can I just say thank you so much. That was awesome.
You're welcome. And congratulations to you. Yeah.
I think we learned a thing or two about you this evening.
You did? What did you learn?
Well, I did not know that Positive Power started out as a newsletter, and I did not know the impact that Earl Graves had on you.
Yep. Yeah. That was
the
crazy.
Influence that Earl. Yeah.
That started.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, he really got that blood flowing with the entrepreneurship, because I was going crazy because I was reading about black folks that had like real businesses. Mm-hmm. When you growing up, you see, you don't see us. Maybe like you go to a ball game, you see some guys selling hot dogs and T-shirts and stuff. That was like, maybe guys selling the cars. Who owned the car dealership? Not I. Maybe the used car lots. You just didn't see that,
Yeah.
No black pilots, nobody on their own plane, except for the rappers, and they were perpetrating. So I don't know. That cat, and I told him, he saw it in my eyes what he ignited in me. And he signed my magazine too, my magazine that I produced with my own hand. Mm-hmm. And it was to my brother and I got to find that magazine. It's probably, I think it might be the one that's in our frame, because we framed it. But that was something, man. And then met him twice. Met him twice at that. All right.
Yeah. That's absolutely awesome. Absolutely. How was your day?
Had a great day. Well, back to work after the holidays, always a struggle.
Yeah, I know.
Getting back in the groove. But it was good to have the rest and come back refresh, get back into the saddle, as they say. Mm-hmm.
I hear you. Mine was similar. But, can I just have to say this? I have a testimony this evening, and I have to share it.
Well, it's your show.
It's
your show.
So I leave work today. I'm here in the Atlanta area. And God is just, oh, Jesus. I'm coming down, for those of you familiar with the Atlanta metro area, 285, which is similar to your Beltway in the D.C. area.
Hate it.
And yes, and I'm oh my gosh, yes, the traffic's just awful. So I'm coming around 285, and there's this huge wad of that, that string that they use when we're packing up boxes.
Yeah.
That twine. I mean, it's like a tumbleweed size of this ball of string that has fallen off the truck on the road. And I didn't have enough time to kind of swerve to go around it because of the heaviness of the traffic. And I panicked. I panicked because years ago when I lived in the Maryland area and I was on my way to work to Towson, one of those huge packing sheets flew off of a truck under my car. My car caught fire. Now, I was on 695, Beltway going around. I was on 695 on my way from work in Towson, because I worked at Towson at the time. I lived in Edgewood, Maryland. My car caught fire. 1 minute, the paper goes on, it was a huge sheet of that stuff, goes under my car, and then the next thing, all I see are flames in the windshield of the car. Thank God I was by myself, because at the time, my babies, who were not babies anymore, were babies at the time, and thank God I was by myself. There was a Mack truck behind me, and I could see him motioning for me to get over. I pulled over. He put the fire out. I had to get a new car. But that was a very traumatic experience. So all of this is going through my head today as I'm driving over this tumbleweed of this twine, and I look in my rearview mirror, and I don't see it, come out from under my car. So that tells me somehow it has gotten hooked underneath my car. So the traffic is heavy. I'm trying to pull over to the next exit. I said, good, I can get off here at Atlanta Road, the next exit. Well, I missed the exit because I couldn't get over, quick enough. So I had to go down to the next exit. I go down to the next exit. I pull off. There's no place right there to stop. So I wind up pulling into a Home Depot parking lot. Terry, I pull into the parking lot. I get out of the car. I have to get under the car because sure enough, that whole tumbleweed size twine, whatever it is, has gotten caught underneath my car because I could start to smell it burn or something burning under there. It gets caught underneath my car. So I'm under there. Now, it's bitter cold down here. It's like it's single digits. I'm under there, and I'm trying to get this out. I finally was able to pull it out from underneath the car. I go back to get into the car. I don't know if I closed it. I don't know if the wind closed it. I don't know how it got closed, but the door of the car was closed. And somehow it locked. My door is locked. Now, mind you, it's bitter cold. So, my windows are up.
Right.
It's bitter cold out. My car is locked. It's running. I had pulled kind of, semi off into the parking lot. So I'm standing there, and my first thought was I was going to burst into tears. I said, okay, wait a minute. Let me hold it. Let me just breathe. I know God has a ram. I know he has a ram in the bush because, first of all the places for me to pull into, I pulled into the Home Depot parking lot. So let me just breathe. So I went into Home Depot, and, I shared what happened, and a couple of the gentlemen said, well, are one of your windows cracked? I said, no, it's freezing out there. The windows are up. It's cold. They come out, they get some little Jimmy thing, whatever it is, and they come out. I promise you. We come out, the window is cracked. There's a little crack in just enough for him to get whatever it was that he got in there to jimmy that lock open. I didn't ask no questions of where he got it from, how he got it, or why he was such an expert at doing it. But I know that man opened the door of my car. And I was just, I started thinking, had I not missed that first exit and pulled off because of that particular exit, there was nothing. There was no one. I would have just been stranded out there. Do you know what I'm saying? And then when I pulled off in this exit, I had to, pass a few stores and whatnot, and I couldn't turn in because there were things that were blocking my path from turning off sooner than I had than I would have turned off in the Home Depot. You follow what I'm saying? Because I had options, but I couldn't get to them because of the other traffic. So it almost forced me into the parking lot of Home Depot. And I'm like, look at God. God, because, he knows what's going to happen before we know what's going to happen. And I promise you, he orchestrated that whole thing. When I hit that whole tumbleweed thing and I was trying to pull over, I couldn't get off on that first exit because he knew there wasn't help there for me. And then I tried to get off on the second exit, and there were areas that I could have turned, but he orchestrated it so I couldn't turn. So I would wind up where I needed to wind up to get the help that I needed. And I say that to say that sometimes when we are on this journey in life, God is steering us and he's orchestrating things. And at the moment, it may not seem like it. Because when I missed that first exit, I'm like, this thing is going to catch on fire. My car's going to catch on fire again. I'm all this stuff is going through my head. I'm not going to be able to make it to the next, next exit. But God knew what he was doing.
That's right.
He knew what he was doing. He knew what he needed to do to get me to wind up in that Home Depot parking lot for those men to come out and help me to unlock my car. And they did it inside of, I don't know, a minute or so. Once he got that little thing in there, and he did it inside of a minute or so. And I gave both of them a little something, and they were like, no. And I'm like, no, I've got to give you something. I've got to bless you. You bless me, I've got to bless you. So, I hope that helps somebody, and I hope that encourages somebody that sometimes when we are on this journey, of life, and we're faced with obstacles and situations that cause us to be stressed or panic, to just be still, be aware of your surroundings, and look and see what it is that God has placed in your path to help you overcome whatever that obstacle is. Right. Because I truly believe that's what he did for me today. I truly believe that. And then when I lock myself out, I'm thinking, oh, my Lord, this is my first night back live. I'm going to be stuck in this parking lot, for 3 hours.
That's right.
I'm going to miss my show. All of this stuff started, going through my head.
I used to fear that. I fear that with my Jeep. Because my Jeep, it's like they didn't really do nothing super duper fancy to this. This is one of their bigger trucks. And so when I got to get out to go get my daughter, like I got to go fan her down or something, and I got to leave her run, I always crack the window where I can get my arm in there, and then come right back. I always fear that.
The funny thing, I usually do, but I was in such a panic thinking that, having flashbacks of 25 years ago, that this thing is going to catch on fire. And it was cold, and I was in such a rush to get out of the car and get that wad or whatever it was from under my car that I didn't do that, because usually I'll put the window all the way down.
Always my greatest fear.
Yes. But oh my gosh. So that preceded, me being on air today.
Glad you made it.
But God is good. God is good. That's all I can say. He's got you. He's got you. It may not seem like he's got you, y'all, but he's got us.
Yeah,
he's got us.
Yeah, sometimes
we may not see it. Yes.
Yeah, you sometimes you do get a little like, what's happening, God? And you think about the, just like I did a little piece for, and I know when we was on your show, we was talking about some of my projects for 2018, and one of the projects that I started back in 2015 when I was really going through cinematography. I said I wanted. God told me to do a documentary because of what was going on with the black males of America and police brutality. And I said I need to do my little part. And I'm always trying to think outside the box. I said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to, get some young men who are doing some positive things. Because I remember this was years ago, and it was this guy. He owned his own cab company. He owned his own cab. And I remember he told me, we was just so blown away how much the talent that these young kids at our church had. We used to let them have their own church service. Fifth Sunday was theirs, and it was like one of the best services. And he said, Jerry, you know what? If it wasn't for these kids here, man, because he see a lot driving his cab in the street, he said, man, I would think that this earth is doomed. That's what he told me. This earth was doomed. Mankind didn't have a chance because of the streets, and it's going to pieces, and the churches are not making a difference. That's what he said. He said he had no hope. But he said when because of that, he felt a little better about the world. So I'm like, I could feel him what he was saying at that point. So I'm saying, there's some young people out here doing some really great things when nobody talks about them, So I said, I'm going to work in threes, and I'm going to find 3 young men. I know they're going to be led to me, and I'm going to give them an opportunity to go on camera and give their testimony, where they came from and where they are today. And it's funny because each one of these guys that's on my first docuseries called Who I Am, they were reared by single moms or, split custodies, and they're all college graduates. One of them actually has his master's. He graduated. Well, at the time he didn't have it, but he did graduate this past summer. And they all doing great. And they're not just thinking about themselves, like spending their money on fancy cars. They talking about what they want to do for mankind, which I think is like, wow. They not talking about. And of course, you got some guys that, they want to coach and be part of these young men's lives and everything. But these guys are like thinking at a whole different level. So I was just so excited. But I didn't really know what to do with that film. I had the title, I had everything. Only thing was I was still learning equipment, so I did have little issues fighting with the audio, and then I wanted to be in black and white, so I'm still testing some stuff like that. But it's their story. I didn't want them to be the distraction to their story, so that's why I put in black and white. So and there's a couple little things I need to do, a because I was coaching one of the guys and I didn't catch myself in all the edits. So,
right.
But I'm really excited about it. It's going to launch on YouTube Live. So we're going to announce the date. It's going to be run during Black History Month. And we'll make an announcement when it's going to ride. It'll probably be a Friday night before our show. And we have something to talk about.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, and it's pretty long, too. It's about an hour. Yeah. It's short. It's still considered, I was calling it a short film. But it is my first one. And now, since I'm getting past this one, I know what to do with the next ones. But I always believe, let people tell their story, because this is going to be something they say that's going to impact somebody. Yeah. And I don't want to be the one that's directing the wrong stuff out of the movie. So I just let it ride. Each one of them brought something different to the plate, which is like incredible. And
you're telling your story. It's your story that you're telling. And we can all learn something from everyone. We can all learn something, from each other. I think I've shared on one of the shows, I'm in the process of learning ballroom dance, or more specifically Detroit ballroom and Chicago stepping. And I'm learning, in the process of learning this dance, that you can learn something from everyone, because everyone has something to bring to the table to round out your experience and your expertise. Exactly. Like you were sharing on my show earlier about YouTube University and how they were reaching out to you to, come to take some of the classes, and how you were taking some of the classes online and the different opportunities, taking advantage of all of those opportunities, learning from all of those different resources to develop you as a media personality. Radio, television, doing the Blacked Out Live, all of those different things, the films that you're doing, we can gain something from every experience that we have in life, whether it's a positive experience or a negative experience. We can all extract something from those experiences to mold and shape us and develop us into who and what it is that God has purposed each and every one of us to do and to be.
That's right.
That's huge. Yeah.
That's right. Very huge. I know you and I was talking earlier, and I was telling you one of my best friends, he's like a brother. We've been friends since high school. We went to a engineering high school together, Polytechnic Institute. For those of you familiar with Charm City's high school system, they have great magnet schools and engineering programs.
Yeah.
It's almost like a private school, but it's run by the city. So anyway, I called him today because I missed his birthday, so I said I was going to call him and say Happy New Year and see what he always working on a project, but he never finishes them because he always gets something distracts him, whether it's a long distance job or his baby mama or his son got some stuff going on, So I called him and he was really upbeat. And the first thing he said, "Johnny, you ain't call nobody no more." I said, "Dude, I just spoke to you this summer." Didn't I call you? He said, "No, I called you." I said, "Oh, okay." So anyway, I was calling to see if he was ready to start talking about his project, if he was ready to start casting and that kind of thing. Because he's a playwright, and he wrote a book before in honor of his dad, because his dad was an educator. And wow. So he's still got some projects going on. He said he wants to sit down and talk. And he was really hype about the radio station and everything. He said he remembered when I was talking about this before this stuff even happened. He remembered this. He said because he was there when I built the radio station and one at the school. I built the radio station that actually, received. It was a walkie-talkie and a record player, and I was able to use the parts to build our actual radio. It picked up the sports channel. And I won at the school and went on to Johns Hopkins to compete, but I lost to a kid that was growing some plants in the dark. So, so who knows?
You grow some plants in the dark.
Yeah, I lost to that kid. So they probably thought I was working with a kid, but I actually built everything because they had working antennas. It lit up. They probably thought I was a kid, So anyway, make a long story short about that. He was just so happy that I stuck this thing out, and I sent it to him, and he said, "My God, dude," he said, "You sound like a professional radio guy." It was like, I was laughing.
Guess what?
So
guess what? Yes, yeah.
So now he excited
But,
now because I was talking to him about the cinema stuff, because that's what we talking about partnering together. So I sent him some of our stuff, and he was like really, really impressed. So he said, "Yeah, we got to talk. We got to talk." So it's good when you got friends that's on board of what you doing. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you don't get that. Yeah. You really don't.
Absolutely.
All right.
And, it's all about making those connections and those relationships.
That's right.
Hey,
Dr. Trinell. Dr. Trinell is out there. What's up, Dr. Trinell?
Yes, I see Everett Drake's out there this evening. Patrice Denny's out there. Evangelist Falana is out there.
My old boss out there. What's up, Janice Young? That's my old boss. She's funny. She's the crack me up. Cassandra Webb. Cassandra Webb is coming here, bringing her nephew, her godson, to Blacked Out Live. That's right. I'm so excited about these programs.
Prophet Michael Willis.
Oh yeah, Prophet Michael out there, Big Mike. I know we started talking about some of the stuff we was working with, and I know some people just coming in because they used to us coming on at 9:00, 9:30. But one of the things that I wanted to just push, what was so fantastic about having Dr. Trinell as a manager, is that sometimes when you have somebody that's there, they kind of help you stay the course and make you I wouldn't say liable, but kind of like keep you on task.
Accountable.
Yep.
Accountable. Make you keep accountable.
Which I've always been good because I know I work my projects according to where I am. And like right now, we still got like a whole bunch of segments to shoot for Dirty Diana, because we got some outside stuff. There's a lot of stuff we need, a lot of graphics we need for the narration. I don't want people to sit there watching us talk. So I do have some graphics for the narration, because just like I told this story on your show about my journey with diabetes, it's like it's going to be more of a compelling story when I tell it in the movie, because it's going to be some stuff that nobody knew. That's why I was telling people, one time I was going to call it a big secret, but I said, no, because one, it is a big secret because a lot of people don't really know how dangerous it is. Because it's like everybody kept telling me, they always had that look on their face like, oh, you need to be careful. You got to take care of yourself. Everybody telling you that, but nobody's trying to help you take care of yourself. It's like they got
even what you need to take care of yourself.
They got cakes and pies around. Like even at work, everybody bringing Krispy Kremes around. And this thing, nobody going to say, oh, yeah, we're going to stop. We're going to bring you something too, man. This is a non-sugar type, whatever. It's like people want you to look out for yourself, but what are they really doing to support you? How are they going to help you get through your work, your day? Because you're not the same person you used to be. You're not that.
Right.
You can do 20 hours in 8 hours. You're lucky if you can get 3 out of 8 hours. Because you're sick, and what they don't remember and know that diabetes is one of the leading reasons why people are dying from heart attacks, and a lot of people don't know that. Because the body, the heart can't take on some of the complications that it gives you. The circulation is one of them. It's like a lot of people got, you look at your artery, that thing is like a, how can I put it? Like a line of, like, say you pushing water. If there's something in there, and then the water going to come out on the other end. So imagine how much your heart is going to get. It needs blood and pump it through your system. The circulation system, your circulating system, the hormones, your liver, your pancreas. And that's what we get. I don't get into like the real science part of it, but it's a guy that was on YouTube, really broke it down real simple, and I was going to use his analogy, that you got to look at it like a big city, and you got that pipeline running underneath that's carrying your water and your waste. Just look at it like that. Each building is receiving water, pushing out waste. Well, that's how your body works. And just imagine if it's something else inside the pipes besides water. Well, that's what it is with your blood. It's something else in there with the blood, and not just blood. It's like all that sugar that's supposed to be helping you get energy. Well, it doesn't go nowhere. It just stays there. And the more sugar you eat, the more it builds up. And it starts getting sticky and gooky. And next thing you know, you're sluggish and you're tired. And if you're not exercising, it's going to be even worse. And then they use the pills to help push the water through. It's almost like, okay, the water's not moving through the city fast. Let's put a turbo in. Let's drop this pill in. This pill got acid in it. It's going to help push the water through quicker. We know the people got to drink it, but at least it's getting to their house and they got fresh water, even though it got chemicals in it. Well, that's what's happening when you inject yourself with insulin, because your body is insulin resistant. It's not producing enough. So the insulin that we get from the doctors is actually pig insulin. Yes. Pig insulin, not human insulin, pig insulin. So a lot of people have complications from that, which I was wondering.
And what you said earlier on my show, I think is so important about you really have to be your strongest advocate. You really have to be your best advocate for yourself, and you have to do your research. And that's something that I've discovered over the years. There was a time when you could go to the doctor, and the doctor could sit there, the doctor would sit there and tell you all about yourself.
Yeah, not now.
How are you doing with this, and how are you managing that? Now, you almost have to sit there and tell the doctor about yourself.
Because half of them don't really have no real communication skills. They just you got a worried doctor. She just gonna be finding like what magic pill is gonna take care of you. And one thing, I don't like blame them for everything, because I know for a fact, and this is like majority of Americans, especially when you start getting out of your athletic age, you really don't do enough exercising to really help take care of yourself. It's like they're saying they telling the kids do 30 minutes of exercise a day. Well, what are you doing? You come home from work after sitting down all day, come home, fix a meal, and then lay down and watch TV.
Right.
The only exercise you're getting is getting off the couch or getting out of your chair, going to the bathroom, or getting something to eat.
And that's not enough. Right. And our bodies weren't designed like that.
Yep. And we're wondering why a lot of us is like having so many problems. Now, people are living longer, but that's because the medication is prolonging their life. That's the deal. It's prolonging their life, but they're in so much pain. I mean, you go inside some of these places, the people are like, they got so much pain, man. The arthritis is killing them. That rheumatoid arthritis is no joke. And that's some of the complications you get. Even with diabetes, you don't even have to be in your 60s or something. You can get that baby in your 40s,
Right, exactly. I did a video earlier today. Did you see it? I did a video earlier today where I was training with my trainer, but I was sharing with the audience about your guest appearance on my show this evening. And I was also on it. I also was saying for 2018, challenging the audience to be intentional about self-care.
Yes.
Being intentional about self-care and making a point to be intentional about self-care. What is it that you have to do as an individual to take care of yourself and not feel bad about it, and not feel, because sometimes I think we're led to feel guilty or selfish because we're taking care of ourselves. But if we don't take care of ourselves, God only gave us one body. He gave us this temple. What does the scriptures would tell us? Our bodies are a temple. He gave us this temple. We only have one temple. And, I, for one, and I know a lot of those that are listening, are not interested in God giving us an eviction notice because we have not taken care of the temple that He has given us to reside in. So, we have to do those things to take care of ourselves. And part of that, as I have learned over the years as well with my own, ailments or aches and pains and challenges, is really I've had to become, just like you said on the show, my best advocate, research and educate myself on what it is that ails me and what's best for me so that when I go to the doctor, I can share with the doctor what those things are, because I can no longer assume, that he or she knows. With the exception of my primary care doctor, I've been with him now almost 20 years.
Wow.
That man knows me, and he's old school. He's old school, even though he's challenged with, the new technology and everything, and he has to keep up with this, that, and the other thing. But he still he's still old school. He's still that doctor that will take a few moments before he comes in, because I can hear him outside the door. He'll take the chart, and I can hear him just standing there, going through the file before he comes in. And when he comes in, it's evident that he has gone through it a minute. But you have, some of these younger doctors, like you said, the whole, quote-unquote bedside manner is not there. Personality is not there. And it's almost scary because they're asking you questions about your health and what's ailing you and what medications you've taken. And to me, some of that, they should at least look at the file so they can see, so they can make, so they can, calls. Because sometimes you wonder, is their diagnosis the best for you based on the limited information that they have.
Plus, they got to remember, too, doctors are challenged now with internet diagnosis. People are diagnosing themselves from the internet. So when the doctor get to them, they just going to let you just go ahead and run off everything you got going on, you think, and then basically they got a few magic questions, a few magic touches they do to determine where you are. But a lot of times now, insurance companies don't really want to pay the doctor's fees. So now you're seeing nurse practitioners and they just guessing. So it's like, wow, so that's why you're at a point now where you want to keep it's just like your car. It's going to cost you some money if you let your car break down, but if you maintain your car, it's going to be less expensive for you to have to, for your breakdowns, because you're bringing it in, you know what needs to be done instead of waiting for that one breakdown. So we got to treat ourselves right, proper amount of exercise, not a lot of stress on the body. That was one of the things I learned too with being in the groups. It was a guy came in and said that you really got to be careful with like how much weights and stress you put on the body, because that can cause the body to think that it's being attacked. When you're thinking about being attacked, think about a mountain lion is chasing you, and like, okay, you can handle the stress from him for maybe 5 minutes, but if he's chasing you for an hour, which is typically a lot of our workout times, that's too much every day. That's why it says good to take off a day. Then the next day you will do something different. Now, I heard a guy said that when you are a certain age, cardio exercise really don't help men at a certain age. He said because it is reducing your testosterone. But he could have been saying it because he's trying to sell some stuff. So who knows? So you really don't know who to believe.
You never know.
Yeah, I told my doctor that he's going to laugh. He's going to be cracking up.
Yeah, it depends. I think it depends on what you're used to. Fitness has been part of my life for as long as I can remember. And I tell people all the time, because people will maybe watch the Facebook Live videos because I did one today with my trainer, and it's on my page on Paula G Voice. It's on my page. And, people say, oh, well, I can't work out like that. I can't work out that hard. You don't have to. It's just I've been doing it all my life. So that's why I work out at the level that I work out at and that intensity. But doing what's comfortable, if it's just walking, some of us have these homes that, we have these, I call them stairway to heaven. You got these stairs, walking up and down these stairs, walking around your neighborhood, or if you like to swim, or just what works for you at your level is beneficial. Whatever level that is. So I think sometimes a lot of people overdo it.
You'd be surprised too. My provider,
too much.
He brought up something like that today. He said, you'd be surprised how simple an exercise can be. He said, a lot of us go grocery shopping every week. Say when you take your car, your groceries from your car, when you get inside, before you put them down, do like 3 arm curls on each arm, put it down, then go get the next grocery.
Yeah.
He said that something like that can help keep you toned over a certain period of time. So you got to take advantage.
Take that, because for example, I'm in a home where I've got to go up a flight of steps to get into the kitchen. Even that, as you're walking up that flight of steps, you're working your hamstrings and your quads and your glutes and all that. But even as you're walking up those steps with those grocery bags, doing a couple of bicep curls.
That's right.
And that trip up the step, those 12 steps up, you're working your quads, you're working your hamstrings, your inner thigh, your outer thigh, your glutes, you're working your shoulders, you're working your biceps, all in those flights up and down the steps, taking groceries up and down.
Right. Resistant training, they call it.
You done did it.
And that's one of the things that I got really scared when I got sick. And I was really all ears with my first doctor. But my first doctor, she ended up going back to Long Island, so she gave up her practice here. So then I was out. I didn't have a doctor for 30 days. I ran out of medication, but I was still working out and eating correctly. Gave up, all the white potatoes, the French fries, the bread, and all the stuff like that. So when I got my new doctor, she tested me. She said, "You don't have diabetes." I was like, "Really?" She said, "Yeah, your AC1s are normal," because she did a complete blood workup and everything. So all I did, she said, "Just keep doing what you're doing." But at the time, I was like a super duper happy camper at the time. I was loving what I was doing. So and the thing about it is, what people don't realize, stress, and we said it earlier, can really take a toll on you. Unfortunately, I lost her cousin today. That was very young. It turned out that she had a cardio arrest or something like that. I mean, we still waiting on information, but she was just in the hospital for that reason. So, she was only 27. So you got to think about, what are you doing to your body? What are you putting in your body? Detox.
Right.
We have a show where Michelle from Serenity Radio, she talk a lot about pooping and detoxifying and detoxifications. The fiber, high fiber diet, and and one of the things my mom found out is that everybody's body is made up different. You got to find out what type of body you have. Where some people good with eating heavy amounts of animal tissue protein, but then some of us do better when we do plant protein. Because I heard a guy said he didn't do well with plant protein. It was better, but then I found out that animal protein is really secondary protein. That's what I heard this doctor say on a documentary. He said, "Did you know that animal tissues is secondary protein?" So the guy said, "So what is primary?" He said, "What are animals eating all day long? They're eating plants."
Wow.
They're eating
plants. There are a couple of books out there, and I'm not endorsing it or not endorsing. I'm just throwing the information out because some people really believe strongly in it, and some people think it's just a bunch of hogwash. But there are a few books out that speak to eating right for your blood type. Like certain blood types, certain foods complement certain blood types, and certain foods may not necessarily be beneficial for certain blood types.
There's got to be some truth to it, though. I guess you can find out. I mean, like some people don't do well eating breakfast, and that's because what is breakfast? It's a high carb diet.
It's a high carb.
Michelle said, once you eat a salad, she said, once you get a white eggs or get an egg and make an omelet and put like spinach and tomatoes and a little bit of cheese in there. And, you're talking about, wow, you're right. That's a pretty low carb diet. It's a higher protein diet, especially if you're using, broccoli. And like today, I had a really big lunch. So what I did was I split it. So I ate half of it for my first break, which was mostly broccoli, tomatoes, and a little bit of chicken. I ate half the chicken. But then at lunchtime, I was still kind of full from that. So at lunchtime, I did the same thing. I ate the rest of it. I couldn't even finish it today for some reason. I couldn't even finish it. Normally, I could take out that salad. Man, that salad was nothing. But I loaded it with a lot of broccoli. And then I found out with, we was blessed in this neighborhood that they put in a Wegmans. And, they're known for having a lot of fresh vegetables, which some of your smaller markets, like most of your supermarkets, it's like not a great deal of choices. They have like a huge, it's like humongous, the fresh produce section. Crazy. And you can even grow your own herbs. They got so much stuff. So when I go, and my daughter's like really hyped about it because, she's athletic and she run an indoor track. And so she really care about taking in a lot of plant-based stuff. Salad. We always go get like buy one, get one free salad. I love soup.
Right.
And Wegmans is good for their soup. because they use organic chicken and a lot of fresh vegetables in their soup. It's not high in sodium. And that's one of the things, too, that a lot of us as African Americans got to be aware of. Sodium is not our good friend. It's not at all. Not at all.
And you know what I discovered? You know, one thing I learned is you got to look at the labels, hear me, on bottled water.
Oh, yeah.
Because bottled water, somebody has some soda. Because I was, at one point I was drinking, bottled water. I drink it like crazy anyway. I was drinking like crazy. And I'm like, why are my legs still swelling?
Yeah.
I'm not ingesting any salt, salt. I've removed salt, but my legs are swelling like I've got, because, I've high blood pressure. My legs are swelling like as though I'm ingesting salt.
Wow.
And somebody said, start looking at the labels on, on bottled water. And sure enough, some of them do have sodium in them. Some of them do have sodium. But I drink it from time to time, distilled water that doesn't have sodium in it, and I can tell the difference. It almost feels like a flushing.
Yeah, distilled water doesn't have any minerals or anything in it either. It's like just drinking like nothing.
Yeah, and that's the other thing too. Yeah,
no nutrients.
So sometimes it's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, it's good to wash your face with it though. You can wash up with it. But I wouldn't think it's going to give your body what it needs. But, and that's one of the things that I'm so happy about the projects that we have. Like I said, Dr. Chanel is really excited about what we're doing because that movie, Living with Dirty Diana, is going to be a health conscious type movie. It's not going to like throw it in your face, but you're going to see, you're going to hear and see the journey. And you're going to meet it's going to be widows in this movie too. You got two women who, one was there all the way with her husband, and it wasn't enough support to keep him from eating to his death. And that's what happened. He ate to his death. Still would have been here today, only in his 60s, early 60s. I was just talking to his cousin. He was over here for New Year's Day. And then my other best friend, his wife went with him to the meetings, and he kept telling her, yeah, I got it, babe, I got it. She believed him because he was always good about his word. He took care of their family. And next thing you know, that dude ended up, he couldn't even get out of his car because he was in a partial coma, and he was drinking. And that's another thing, the depression part of it, the hormone imbalance. A lot of people understand about the makeup. Our body is so complicated. I don't even think they could put a price tag on it, really. They can't.
Oh, no.
Doctors are still figuring things out to this day, and they still haven't gotten a real clue why so many people got diabetes. The numbers are almost staggering, like two out of every 10 people. It's like crazy. It's like 187 million people have it right now. Don't even know it. They said the numbers are
because there's sugar. There's sugar in things that we don't even know sugar is in.
But not just the sugar,
that's what it is.
But the processed foods. See, the thing about it is the body. See, a lot of us have a genetic. It's like it's something about our major organs. It's like they can't handle so much of whatever we put in our body. But you think about back in the day when people used to call it sugar. And everybody grandma had sugar, and their grandfather. And what was the deal? We had a lot of processed meat back then, a lot of hamburgers, a lot of sandwiches. I mean, we had a lot of bologna. We had a lot of bologna and hot dogs back then. A lot.
Yeah. But then look at your activity level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We played sports year round.
We were when we were eating all that stuff and we were kids, we were outside, especially in the summer when school's out. From the time the sun went up till the street lights came on, we were out in the street.
Yeah. But I don't think they process, but I think too the foods are processed a little differently now because the way the animals are taken care of. The animals are not taken care of like they were back in our day. The animals are like, you go to them places, you can be disgusted the way you see they got these cows and these littles. They can't move around. They're not grazing. They're not out there eating grass. They're eating corn, which is like a diabetic. Right. A diabetic cannot eat anything with corn in. So you eat meat, you're eating corn because that's what you eat. What you made of, right? That's what they say. So it's a lot.
You got a point. Yeah,
we're gonna. It's gonna be a lot that's gonna be in the film that's gonna be real shocking to people.
Yeah.
Basically, just letting people know that it's just time. What phone did that? It's time for you to take care of yourself, and because you can be me. Yeah. I didn't think I was going to ever be me before. Maybe like later on, because my grandmother didn't get it till she was in her 60s, and she just passed just last March. of 2016.
Oh, wow.
But she was like 97 or something like that. And she actually passed from malnutrition because she had gotten to a point where she couldn't remember whether she ate or not. Yeah.
Ate or not. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
And we was trying to get her to move here for the longest time, but her sister just would not let her leave. And they said it's against the law to make elderly people move. I was like, what kind of law was that? It was for their health.
What kind of law is that?
They can't make a decision for themselves. Somebody got to take control. Yeah.
Somebody got to move them. Right.
They call that abuse.
Right.
They call that some kind of neglect. I said it should be neglect, not abuse. So I don't know. It's crazy. Well, look, Paula, look like we're running out of time, and man, it was so good to have you on here. Well, yeah, us sharing the platform, Survival Radio, Positive Power, and we appreciate everybody that's tuning in. I hope that they got something from it. Of course, we didn't get a chance to tell everything we was doing. Can't let all the cats out the bag, but the main thing we want people to know.
But you know what? I think what I'll do, and I was mentioning this to you earlier. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I was mentioning it earlier. Is that having you on the Paula G show more frequently this year?
Yeah, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff going on, especially when the spring comes. We got a lot of artists gonna be coming. It'd be great to talk about some of them or what the experience that they had. Just like recently, we had Serena Reed Green was here. We had her backup singers were here, and actually one of the guys released a Christmas album. We had a chance to have him on the show, Jamal Bivens, and then we had Trent Gannison and Ken Osborne came here, and actually I hosted them and took them out. We had a great time men bonding, and that kind of sparked me to have the idea to start a podcast for men only. I know you wanted to get to that, and that was called Next Man Up.
Oh gosh, yes, we didn't even talk about that. Oh my God, Saturday morning, y'all got to tune in.
Yeah, you got to tune in. Now we won't have a show this week because we got a big birthday celebration for my sister-in-law, and the kids got to get their haircuts, and ladies got to get their hair done. But the main thing about that is God did put that on my heart. Us being media, we do have a responsibility to our community to bring. We always talking about BET, getting rid of all those great programs they had back in the 90s, and that we all own our own podcast, but yet we rather come on here and be yakking about nothing and bringing people on selling stuff all the time when it's time for us to start having shows that's
sharing information.
Discerning information, telling what some of these guys are doing in their community so you can be part of that, or you can contribute. If you can't contribute physically, maybe you can monetarily, because a lot of these guys got great ministries,
right?
And then maybe that can inspire people to get off the couch and do something in their community, because that's the problem. We're not taking ownership of our communities right now. And maybe this can inspire.
Our communities are being re-gentrified left and right.
That's right. So we got Dr. Paul Kelly moderating, and each week I have a Christian rapper. A lot of these Christian rappers have some real life gang experience. A lot of them. A lot of these guys have been incarcerated for many, many, many years, so they have a lot to share. And this could be. And the topic late for the last 2 weeks has been basically is about our children, how to make sure your teens is not following the wrong crowd. And Dr. Paul Kelly has been very clever on how he mixes the questions up in that topic, that's, the subtopics, which is awesome. So episode 1 and episode 2 is out on Spreaker Radio. All you got to do is search for Jerry West Live on Spreaker Radio. That's our international podcast. And I think you would love this show. You guys would love it.
Right.
Women, listen to it.
Because, also, if I could share for those who may have missed part of the show this evening, with you as my guest, they can go to www.thepaulagshow.com and they can scroll to the episode. It will also be posted on my group page, The Paula G Show, as well as my personal page, Paula G Voice. You can also go to my website, www.paulagvoice.com, to listen to tonight's episodes, Spreaker Radio, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn Radio, The Paula G Show. And I just thank you so very much for coming on and helping me celebrate my second year. A lot of times, and I know we got to go. A lot of times we celebrate, our years on air, and for me, a lot of times I forget because I just keep grinding. I keep grinding because I love radio, and I thank you, my brother.
Let's get some shout outs to people who help celebrating your 2 years and help celebrate our 4 years. We have Eric Drake is out there. We got Prophet Mike out there. Christina Lockett is out there. And, of course, we got a shout out to Patrice Jackson. That's my co-host on Wednesday nights. And we missed her, having her on the show. Of course, you and I had already agreed that it was going to be a collaborator. I forgot to tell Patrice that, too. I was like, oh, my God, I forgot to tell Patrice. Yeah, but she was good.
Oh, my goodness, Patrice.
I'm sorry, Patrice. But I didn't tell her. Yeah, she know how I am.
Forgive him, Patrice.
Yeah, she
we know how he is, Patrice.
Yeah, Patrice working on some big stuff, too, which we'll release on the show when she's ready. So, with all that said, like you said, guys can also catch Paula G out on Friday nights on the Quad Storm at 11:30. We have fantastic guests opening up the show. We got Shay Samuels here. We got Danette Watson from Total Life Changes. So come on out and hang out with us and find out about what's going on around your town and how you can support these artists and these business people and the media, especially the media. And one of the things that we're seeing a lot of, and I'm not sure if you've been seeing a lot of it, Paula G, there's a lot of Christian television networks starting to pop up now. So a lot of these guys are looking for content. So if you're a playwright and you're looking for production companies, make sure you get a good production company and some real actors. A lot of actors are willing to do things for no money because of the growing trend of the internet. Yeah, be careful. Because I've been looking at some shows and it's like, ooh, man, that's bad. So, I didn't mean no harm, but I'm just saying, I think this is an opportunity for people who have real good skill sets that can write. This audition, take your time. Audition for some good actors. Just don't let Cousin Killer be in there because that's your cousin. He said he can act a little bit. He a little gangster. Take your time. Put out a really good product. That's what God wants. We're representing the kingdom, right? So
exactly.
It's a lot of these networks popping up right now because I just saw an announcement of, I think Jay Nicole and Howard Sapp got a new television show that's going to be running on a network called Christian Vision Entertainment Television. And I think they out of New Jersey. And I remember she had went to an event back in, I think, October, November. I was supposed to have been there, but we had death in the family. But a lot of networks was there shopping their ideas and content to each other. So you're going to see a lot of that, people. So a lot of you are very talented out there, especially, Christina Lockett, Big Winner, Tina, Superwoman. A lot of you guys are in front of Facebook. And you got Sister Regina. She's very intelligent, very savvy on the internet. Look at these companies real closely. And like I said, if you're looking for a good production company, you come to Baltimore, I shoot you. Come to Charm City. I can shoot you right here in my studio, or we can rent out a spot. All right. We got great equipment. And I know other production companies too that can help out for bigger productions. I got a guy that I network with in Salisbury under Vision Works. Urban Vision Works, and they actually do motion pictures and stuff like that, stage plays, you name it. All right, so let's just do it right, y'all. Every Drake and Dr. Bobby Jones, they set the stage. They showing us how to do it right for television. Let's follow their lead. And I gotta say this too, Paul, before you go. I told you before that Clark Garrison, I didn't get a chance to talk to him before personally or even on the air, but his radio station, we'll make that happen. Yeah, gotta let that happen. His radio station has definitely been a template for me, trying to understand how to get it right. Because like he said, it wasn't nobody really out there for him to follow. It was a couple of white networks like Stitcher and NPR and all of them, but they was like a different type of an animal. So I was glad to see that what he has been so successful, and Positive Power definitely was using that as a mirror, with integrating television and film with radio. We do red carpet, like I said, we're working on motion pictures. We got 3 television shows we about to produce. We got Beyond the Beat, Black Out Live concert series.
Yeah.
His show is coming here. Kimmy Kim's show is coming here. And then we got a lot of CEOs here. We got CEO Fred Newsom has a record label here, so we got plenty of artists for you guys to interview. So, but it's time to put Charm City on the map. You guys want to come to Charm City, be entertained by me, come on through. Charm City, 1,600 restaurants downtown, East and West Harvard, looking good. 4 or 5 brand new hotels been built. We got 3 casinos. Come on to town, y'all. Charm City, baby. The Wire is over. I think they tore the area up where the Wire was shot at. I don't think it exists anymore.
Oh, really? It's not there. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the hood has been bought up by Johns Hopkins in Maryland, and University of Maryland. So the projects have been
and that's happened.
Bombed. Yeah, they destroyed a lot of those projects.
Wow.
A lot of people living in apartments.
It was interesting. If I can say this real quick, I know we've got to go, but for my younger daughter's birthday in November, I gave her a Broadway birthday weekend because she loves plays. She's in the theater business and she loves plays. I gave her a Broadway birthday weekend, and we spent the weekend, got a hotel down there on Times Square and spent the weekend at Times Square. And we went over to Harlem to Sylvia's restaurant.
Hold on for a minute, Paula. Hold on for a second. Christina just reported that Clark was in a car accident. Did that just happen? She said 12-car pilot.
He was in, I just found out earlier today. He's fine. His family's fine.
Oh, okay. That happened.
They were in an accident. He was taking his daughter back home.
Oh.
And he was coming back, and I think it was earlier in the week or last week.
Oh, okay.
And one car hit an ice patch. And there was a 13-car pileup. I know the car was jacked up a little bit.
Oh, okay.
They're okay. Some bumps and bruises and stuff.
Okay.
I should have mentioned that earlier. So thank you, Christine.
I was about to say because
mentioned that earlier.
All right. Thank God. All
yeah.
Right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was breaking news.
No, that's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay. But to your point, what I would like to do is later in the year, and we'll talk and we'll schedule it. I would really like to have both of you back on, you and Clark, and have a dialogue about internet radio and radio, because both of you have such passion, and both of you, your journeys are similar in that the challenges that you faced and how both of you really were trailblazers, doing things in internet radio before everybody else was doing them. So we'll have that conversation. But what I was saying about Harlem, we went over to Harlem to Sylvia's restaurant, and as we were walking around Harlem, just noticing the change. There's a Whole Foods in Harlem, y'all. Just noticing the changes in Harlem, how very real and tangible regentrification is coming. And I saw this documentary on how some of the people, of course, have been moved out because property value has gone up, and they've taken over a lot of those old brownstones that have deteriorated, and they're renovating them, and now they're selling them for 10 times what they were selling them for before. But then you have some hardcore Harlem people that are like, I'm not going anywhere. I've been here 60, 70 years.
That's my aunt.
And I'm not going anywhere. But neighborhoods are really, really changing.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, and Charm City has changed so much. I mean, just in this area alone, I took the guys out, and I only had to drive like 5 minutes, and we was in this area. They was like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. It was like we can walk and cobblestone bricks. A little sports bar where we just walked right in there. They actually had an outdoor patio where the fire was burning. Beautiful Christmas tree was up. We sat there and, drank club soda and ordered food. And I had like anything you can name was right there. And then they're about to build a mega mall, which is going to be outdoor, which is going to have your box stores like Costco's and Lowe's and all of them. It's going to be huge. It's going to bring tons of jobs for our younger people, So and they did put up another mall too, which is connected to a college, a community college, and they have like a super duper multi-million-dollar like media rooms where you can rent out and do lectures and stuff and run your business stuff. And it's connected to condominiums where a lot of the athletes are living at, and they also give like courtyard parties with the food trucks and have live bands and everything, and it's all connected with the train. So when you get on that train takes you downtown where you got 1,600 restaurants waiting for you at the waterfront, East and West Harbor.
Right.
And you guys going to get a chance to see it because one of the things that's going to be so spectacular about the opening of the movie, which is probably better than a movie, it's an aero drone shot of the harbor. And it's playing over a track. The track is playing over, and of course, this is going to be opening all my series for Who I Am. And remember, Who I Am is going to be a series on black men, and these guys are going to be from China. I actually have footage of some other guys, but I think I'm going to stick with guys from Baltimore since we was affected by that Freddie Gray, and that's basically what impacted me to want to do this movie was the Freddie Gray riots that went on in Baltimore. So. Just to show everybody that there's some guys doing their thing here, ladies. Don't be afraid. You don't have to go white, Asian, whatever.
Listen to you.
Brothers got it going on. You just got to have
the brothers got it going.
I give
hats off to my brothers and encouragement to my brothers. And I know that the brothers that are doing the right thing do not get enough praise, do not get enough recognition, do not get enough exposure because they're overshadowed by the ones that are not doing the right thing. But please know, believe, and understand that what you do is noticed.
That's right.
All of you out there that are men that are listening, that are doing the right thing, please understand and know that it is noticed. Somebody sees it. It is noticed. Be encouraged. Don't waver from it just because the ones that are not doing the right thing are getting more of the attention, and therefore what they say, one bad apple.
But too, Paula,
do what it is that you're doing.
That's why it's going to be so important for media, like, companies like Clark and your Christina Lockett's. And, sometimes we have to find these young men and invite them on your show. You got some guys doing some positive things. Invite them on your show and give them a chance to express their intelligence to everybody. Let people know what are they doing for this world. And that's why I said next man up. It's a lot of next men up. So check us out, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, our Weekly Men's Summit. It's a live podcast. I'm going to be putting out flyers, let you guys know when you can invite, men that to be part of this. If you have any guys you think would be an excellent guest, especially, you talk about guys who have spent some time incarcerated, but they doing their thing right now. They went up against all odds. Just like my man Ken Osborne, dude owns his own trucking company. He has his own ministry. He has a book coming out, an album coming out. He's working it. He's doing his thing. So he's going to be appearing live at one of the events that we've been promoting on January 20th. If you want to come out and meet him, come on out. He's part of Blackout Live. That's going to be released this spring. So it's a lot of stuff going on, y'all. So we need help.
2018.
Support your black media, y'all. Don't look at us and say, hey, I ain't going to share that. He look like he going to be a millionaire. Don't even worry about the money part of it, y'all. God got us. It's about the people. We gotta get away from that, escape from that crab mentality. That's why we haven't gotten anywhere. Of course, some of us have gotten somewhere, but it's been that way for hundreds of years that there's been black people that had money. That's nothing new.
Right.
We have always had doctors and lawyers that have lived well. It's the rest of us that wasn't doing anything. So support each other, y'all. And I know my sister Regina, she reached out today and she said she want to start carrying our podcast on her group. Of course, there's some protocols we have to follow, but I'm willing to do all of that. So let's do our thing, y'all. Let's help each other out. Support our black media so we be able to have a voice in our community so we can start rebuilding. Everybody can say, oh, that's cliche. No, this internet stuff that we doing with this radio, and Christina just said it, we can rebuild. I'm actually looking at starting an internship with a young kid. We can start reaching them, let they start reaching each other. So we start teaching one, let him start teaching his people. And that's one of my practice since school has gone back. I'm going to be reaching into my local school and with the media teacher and find out, does she have a young person who's interested in radio? And I'm going to give them their own program. So that's some of the stuff that we're going to be doing because they need to be developed and trained right now. Don't wait till they get to college. Let's do it right now while they're in high school. So now they got a vision. And now they know when they get to college what they want to be. You want them to find out.
They have motivation.
That's right. They want to find
that motivation.
Amen. So that's what we're going to be doing, y'all. So I encourage everybody out there that's doing radio. Go to your local school and find out if there's a teacher or instructor or principal willing to allow you to start an internship in media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, get them interested right now, because this thing is not going away. This is some real. This internet radio is real, like Christina said. This is real, y'all. This ain't no joke. So we got to support with all these groups that got thousands of members, and I mean, I'm in support groups that got 65,000 members, 80. It's ridiculous number. So I shouldn't have no problem selling my film. I don't have to put it in the theater, but we may put it in the theater just so we can invite the haters. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just I can invite some friends and family.
Okay, now you get sidetracked. Stay focused.
Who knows? But my other movie, Who I Am, is going to be available on YouTube Live. So we'll let you guys announce when that's going to be live, and that's where I'm going to need your support. You know, telling everybody so we can support these young men, what they're doing, listening to their stories, so we can inspire other young men. That's the point. This is to inspire, encourage, and empower other young men to do it. They start seeing guys look like them doing these things. They're going to do that. They want to do it. They're going to be inspired. Right now, guys are destructive. I was listening to Kent and those guys the other day, Stephen Marshall and all of them. They said they did what they saw. Scarface was the man back in the 80s and 90s because so that's what they was used to.
They
drugs.
Up to that. Yeah.
You walk out the street, you see the dude with the big rims. You want that. You want the big rims.
You want that. And, I've noticed, because, I work, and Clark was teasing me earlier about, I love the babies, and I do, because, I'm an educator by trade. I'm a certified professional school counselor, K through 12. And I've learned over the years of working with young people, when you raise the bar of expectation, they will rise to the challenge.
That's right.
I've worked with at-risk students now, and we work towards assisting them in getting their GED and life beyond the GED, whether it's a 2-year college, 4-year college, trade, military, whatever it is. And I always tell my students the first day of class, I say to them, congratulations in advance on obtaining your GED, because as long as you show up, we will give you what it is that you need to be successful. But you have to show up and you do the work. And I expect you at the end of this program to have your GED and to be ready to step into that 2-year college, 4-year college, military. And when we're talking, we don't waver. I don't waver from that statement. When they come, it's too hard, it's too this, it's too that. I expect you to overcome that. I expect you to study whatever it is that if it's English, math, science, social studies, to study it. I expect you to come into tutoring. I expect you to sit here and work on this until you overcome it, so that you can get your GED, and then move on to 2-year college and 4. And when you leave that in the atmosphere with them, they will rise to that challenge.
They will.
They will rise to that challenge.
Amen.
The pants and the hat, I tell you, the young men, they think they're going to come in class with their pants sagging. And, I stop them at the door. I'm like, you got to get your life together before you come to my class. And
that's what's so important about this men's summit thing. We're going to be talking a lot about that kind of stuff, about guys showing more respect, being a little more clean cut now. It's hard for the women to tell the thugs from the good guys. It's like, who the good guys? You can't tell the difference. So I know we taking my son get his hair cut this week because we want him to look decent at my sister-in-law's 60th birthday party. So,
But, even the ladies, I say to the young ladies that are listening, again, the expectation, the men will rise to that challenge. So if we're accepting baggy pants and we act like baggy pants at school, then we're going to see baggy pants.
Yep.
But if we start not accepting that, and that's not cool, and young man might be interested in a young lady, and his pants are sagging, but she won't give him the time of day because his pants are sagging, I bet you those pants will come up.
That's right, because we do anything for the women. That's right, we do anything for the girls.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So, ladies, we've got to. We complain about it, but we've got to raise that bar of expectation as well.
Everybody got to step it up.
And a man will rise to the challenge if you put it out there. Yes.
All right. So I challenge anybody out there in radio to reach back and teach somebody. You don't have to necessarily, because we got people interested in coming onto your podcast and they want to pay money to get airtime. I'm talking about teaching some young people your craft, letting them see what you do, going out to career days, contact the schools. Career days going to be coming up for a lot of the seniors real soon. So, be part of that. Bring your equipment out, some cars, let them check you out. You'd be surprised. One kid, it could be one kid, all it takes. That's right. All right, Paula G, you ready to get out of here? Call it a night.
I am.
All right. Again, I appreciate everybody that
had a wonderful time.
And thank you so much being part of this talk. Let me be part of Survival Radio and give me a chance to talk about some of the things we're doing here at Positive Power XXI and so much stuff. We didn't scratching the surface. The main thing I did want to let everybody know, we got the new film coming out. We got 2 new films coming out. We're gonna be still shooting Who I Am. Next series I'm working on, because this is my first film, so there's gonna be some problems with it, but I gotta release it. My podcast community said you gotta release it. So I'm gonna release it, and of course I learned from that film. Of course, I'm working on other stuff too. We do concerts and everything, but the main thing is, you guys see what its purpose is. And also, not only that, we also got Done With Debt is coming back with Sophia Jacobs. She's going to be teaching you guys how to use her debt principles and little ways of saving money and putting money away and paying debt off. So that show is coming back real soon in a couple weeks. And also, again, look for Kimmy Kim and Paula G in the spring and Beyond the Beat.
Yeah.
Dr. Chanel Stewart.
Absolutely.
All right, y'all. We got exciting things happening here. So we appreciate you guys, and we love y'all. And Happy New Year again.
We love you.
All right.
Thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. All right, y'all. Tell them, Robot, what's up?
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast. Can you feel the power? Can you feel the power? Feel the power of XXI.
PositivePower21.org Internet Radio.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
Hi, I'm Larry W. Robinson, host of Gospel Updates, your gospel entertainment news report. And you're listening to Positive Power 21 Christian Radio with Jerry Royce, live worldwide.
All right, don't forget, y'all, to tune in tomorrow night. We got Curry Hines from New York, Brooklyn, New York, from the Hair Radio Show, the Morning Hair Radio Show. He'll be here with his cast, his co-hosts, a couple of them. I think it's 3 of them total. But we're going to have a good time talking about what he's doing up there and why he's been away for so long. All right, so let's have some fun, y'all, and give praise to our God, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, and spread the good news. That's right, the good news that the Lord is coming soon. Don't worry about anything. Instead, pray about everything. Tell him good news. Peace, y'all.
Hey, what's up? This is your boy Joshua Rogers, and I want to take this moment to say happy anniversary to Jerry Royce and the Jerry Royce Live Radio Show. Listen, thank you guys so much. You've been such a great friend to me. You've been so supportive, and I want you to know that I really, really, really appreciate it. So happy anniversary, and I wish you many, many more years to come. Love you, fam.
Hi, this is Michelle Brooks Thompson, and I just want to say congratulations for 4 years of radio to Positive Power 21 Christian Media and Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Ministries.
Hi, this is Carrie Gordon, and I wanted to say congratulations for 4 years of radio to Positive Power 21 Christian Media and Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Ministries. God bless.
Hi, this is recording artist Reggie Campbell saying congratulations on 4 years of radio to Positive Power 21 Christian Media with Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Ministries.
This is Earl Bynum, and on behalf of me, Earl Bynum Ministries, El Rey Entertainment, On Stage with Earl Bynum Radio, as well as Musical Soul Food Family, we want to say happy anniversary to Jerry Royce Live Radio Show.
You are listening to Jerry Royce Live Worldwide Podcast.
There's so much going on in the world today. But we don't have to worry. God's got it all in control. So just trust and know God cares, and He cares for you. In a mansion made of stone, in a shanty all alone, God cares. He cares. God cares for you. Whether black or white, all are precious in His sight. God cares. Oh yes, He cares for you. To the rich or poor, to the one in need, to the beggar man, or even to the thief, God cares. Yes, He does. God cares. He cares.